Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This has been Rashawn, obviously. And we've finally gotten to that point. This is going to be a very nasty, problematic topic. As you can see the title, Hemorrhoids. I put a warning in the title, I think. TMI, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about what comes out of your ass. I don't know what word I'm going to use because I don't like the word poop. I think it's kitty. I don't like the word. I don't want to say the word shit too much either. And going to the bathroom just sounds a bit too scare. So I don't know what I'm going to label it as, but before I get into it, I just want to put this quote on the screen here. It's from J.R. Smith, an NBA player, former NBA player who got into a lot of trouble. And he put here, "I'm the reason for 100% of my problems." And in the past, when I heard of people have metabolic issue, right? Cardiovascular disease, diabetes from putting too much sugar in your mouth because you can't deal with your problems, and all these other metabolic diseases. Can't really name any right now. I thought no matter how healthy you took it, that there'd always be a chance down the line it'll get you. And for some people, that is true. But one thing that we don't do in the medical system is accountability. And most people that have metabolic sickness, it's because of them. And when it comes to this hemorrhoid talk today, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I had them is because of me. So, let's start this shit, right? Literally. So, I started following the keto diet last July. And I changed a lot of things, right? Went from high carb percentage to high fat, low carb. And for the most part, it has been grand. The energy levels through the roof. Again, 29 years old, I feel better than I did in my early 20s. There's no cap there. But it took some transitioning because eating low fat your entire life, your body gets used to that. Your liver makes bile. Bile breaks down fat. And since I didn't eat fat, my liver didn't have the use or the need to make any bile. So, as I started the keto diets, I would eat a bunch of fat, then take a look at the toilet. And it was floating, which shows that you're not digesting the fat. But that's, a bit of a tangent. So, one July day, I went to the gym. And I think I was ego lifting a little bit with some dumbbells. And if you are using dumbbells, you already know that you have to isolate your arms, right? You have to isolate them when you're using the dumbbell. You can't use the rest of your body, or it's not recommended you do, right? But with me, I suppose I was using dumbbells that were a bit too heavy. And I was using other parts of my body, using my legs, my hips, to try to lift. I would go on those things where they exercise your legs, right? And the problem is when you exercise your legs, you do those knee curls and the leg curls and all that. it's very tough not to use your hips, at least for me, when using these mechanical, whatever the fuck it is, right? So I would leave the gym, ladies and gentlemen. I would leave the gym and I'd go drive somewhere else, probably go to a store and get some food or something. And as I'm driving, I feel this sharp pain. It wasn't really even pain, it was more pressure, sharp pressure in my ass. Again, it's gonna be a nasty video, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, if you can't take this shit, literally, leave. You know? But it was a very sharp pressure. And as I'm driving, there are times where I've got to, no cap, scream. Not scream like a little grill, but to the point where you've got to get transfer the pressure from the ass out the mouth by making noise. That didn't sound right, but that's fine. Now, before I go on, ladies and gentlemen, I meant to say this in the beginning. As this will be a nasty video, I hoped, because I was watching YouTube videos about this during the 6 months on and off that this was a problem. And if you want to put in the comment section some insults like, oh, ass bump boy, or whatever the hell, put your best hemorrhoid insult in the comment section. Because every time that I'm reminded about the war I had on hemorrhoids, it gives me a sense of satisfaction. Because again, the war I had to fight and how I got over it, that is a sense of sufficiency right there. So go to the comment section, put your biggest hemorrhoid insults in the comments. Say, I want to see it. So again, it gives me a sense of fulfillment now that this is almost past me, that I got over it. But anyway, again, go back to July. I'm wondering, why is there a pain in my ass? Why is there a pain in my ass? Now, I had suspected in the past that I had hemorrhoids, but the quality of my poops was not great to begin with, and they weren't of the texture that would aggravate them. And part of the reason why I went on the keto diet is to try to fix my gastrointestinal, the lack thereof. I'm sitting there, it's probably a thrombosed hemorrhoid, which are the most painful, right? First few days, the pain would last for most of the day, but after a while, the pain would only happen if I went to the bathroom. And then after about 2 to 4 hours, right after you go to the bathroom is the worst pain or pressure. And then it would gradually go away over the course of 2 to 4 hours, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. But in the morning, when I do my business and then make breakfast, it was tough to stand. And you've got to listen to your body when you have hemorrhoids, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Because there are times where if you stand, it feels terrible. That's your body telling you got to sit down a little bit. And then there are times when you need to stand. Sitting down is painful. So you got to stand. So you have to alternate between sitting and standing. It's probably a signal that you got to move your body intermittently. You know what I mean? But anyway, I kind of figured before that this was hemorrhoids. So I made an appointment. This was, when was this? I think it was August right? At some point, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. No matter what I do, it's still there. Pain's still there. So make an appointment, doctor. Right? I call my doctor up to make an appointment. This is August, ladies and gentlemen. There's no appointment until November 3rd. November. So I literally have to wait 2.5, 3 months to go see my doctor. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's not good. So then I get suggested to go to the clinic. And I'm like, okay, never been to the clinic, but why not? And I actually thought that that would help me. Now, I go to the clinic. I don't really use my insurance, really. So I go up. They have to activate it for me. And I had to pay $225, which healthcare system, by the way. It turned out to be collateral, so I got the money back, so luckily. But anyway, I go into the clinic room, patient room, whatever it is. Get seen by a Polish or Polish-American woman doctor, right? And I'm thinking in my head here as I wait for an hour to go in, I'm like, people come here for all kinds of different things. How could they really help me? Because it's a clinic. It's very generic. But anyway, I finally get in. I tell her the story, blah, blah, blah. And then she, as I knew, right, she had to confirm that these were hemorrhoids. And how is the only way to confirm that you have hemorrhoids? She got the glove. She got some lube. Put it on the glove. Told me to lay down on my side. And I think it was 3 fingers. So put it in. Put it in, ladies and gentlemen. It was like 1.5 seconds, and it was painful, obviously. I'm there grimacing on the, whatever it is, the patient bed, or it's not a bed, but you know what I'm trying to say. And again, after 1.5 seconds, she's like, yup, you've got hemorrhoids. And oh, yup, you've got blood in the stool. Yeah. You know. And, you know, she's telling me all this shit about, oh, so what we need to do, I'm going to give you some hydrocortisone cream. Prescribe that for you. And we're also going to prescribe you some fiber supplements, right? That'll add to the bulk of your stool. And that'll help you go. So I'm like, okay, all right. Right? So I get both. Actually, no, I got one. I never was prescribed the psyllium husk or the fiber supplement. I don't think they really do that. So I've still got it right here, ladies and gentlemen. It is organic psyllium husk or psyllium fiber from organic India, obviously. So I followed it, right? I would eat the same thing I would. I ate in the morning a lot of kale. A lot of kale with my fish blend, right? And in the evening, I'd eat the broccoli and green beans that you saw in the other video, right? With some meat. So I was eating a good amount of vegetables, right? Kale made the salad very good. But, you know, as I kept on the keto journey, right? For a few months, blah, 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 or for a few weeks, let's just say a few weeks, the problem still wasn't really going away. If it would go away, it would go away for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then I would relapse. I would have a hard stool, and then we're right back at square one with the thrombose-like pain that would last 2 to 4 hours, you know. And the way to remedy that was, again, stand when you can, sit when you can, but also move around. That would also help it. So, at that point, I was like, or actually, go back to the clinic, right? She gave me a reference to a doctor, a GI doctor, right? So I call him up again. This is still August. Call him up to make an appointment. They have no appointment until late September. So I've got to wait 40 days to go see this doctor. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm like, okay, I've got to find a way how I can fix this issue. And I have to trial and error a bunch of stuff because I don't know. And we fear the unknown, ladies and gentlemen. At some point, I'm thinking, am I going to have ass bumps for next year? 2? Right? Those thoughts go through my mind a little bit, but having those thoughts do not help the situation. So I try a lot of things, right? Most of them were over-the-counter stuff, remedy stuff, and all that. But let's fast forward to late September, right? At this time, I wasn't really having a problem as much. But I go into the doctor, the GI guy. He's got fucking 3 masks on at the same time. You know what I mean? Which I don't understand that, but I tell him the story. Very detailed, by the way. Very detailed. I tell him how the quality of the stools have gotten better. However, as the quality goes up, the difficulty goes up, right? Blah, blah. So, I knew this was going to happen. But he gives me a generic option. First option, right, is to get a colonoscopy, which coming in, I kind of figured, because sometimes you have to go into situations knowing that this may happen. So he tells me, oh, let's just do a colonoscopy just to make sure, right? Which I'm like, okay, that's fine. Because you don't want to end up like the Chadwick Bosemans who are in their 30s and die of colon cancer. You know what I mean? So I've always kind of suspected that in the back of my mind, because there were times where I would do my business and something would break down there and bleed. No cap. And I'd be like, oh, well, this is not good, obviously. But I would put it off. I would just be like, yeah, it's just something down there that popped. You know what I mean? So went and did the colonoscopy in October. Now, at the time, like I said, yeah, I wasn't really having the hemorrhoid problem. But did the colonoscopy in October. Colon clean as a whistle, ladies and gentlemen, clean. They saw the hemorrhoids down there, but yeah. So I leave that, blah, blah, that's step 1. So I know I don't have colon cancer. Big whoop, right? But then, for whatever reason, I don't follow up back with a doctor. Because at least immediately I wasn't having a problem. But then the problem came back a few days later. Great timing, by the way. So I'm like, if I make another appointment, I may have to wait 2 more months. So what's the point? And, I'm just thinking about the certain end points of where this could be. It's like, oh, I could have surgery. It's like, well, why would I want that? I could have like rubber banding or some shit. It's like, you know, that just sounds a bit ridiculous. Rubber banding, I don't know. I just thought a lot of dumb shit. But I kept with the experimenting, blah, blah, blah. Watched a lot of videos on YouTube. People that had the same issue and all that. But still intermittently had the problem until December. I'm like, bro, you know, at some point I gotta find a solution. Now, gentlemen, I did. Ladies and gentlemen, I found the solution. Go back to where the doctor in the clinic, and if you search this up on YouTube, they will tell you. Because a lot of times in my kale fish salad, I would put chia seeds into it. And a whole bunch of seeds, flaxseed, ground flaxseed, and chia seeds, because, you know, I was experimenting like hell on the keto, right? But there were times where I would innately, primally think, you know, maybe it's the chia seeds that are the problem. Maybe it's the fiber that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, before that, in November and December, actually, I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself with the solution. But in November and December, right, I started to work outside. Right, I'll start to work outside, and I would start to work earlier, right? So there were days, yeah, the solution's way, you know, we're not going to get to that yet, but there were times where I'd leave my house without doing my business, right? Because I wouldn't get the urge to before leaving. But oh, actually, this is just a general statement as well. When you have hemorrhoids, ladies and gentlemen, there's a clear obstruction feeling in your ass. Okay? So, when you have these bulky stools, they have to pass around the obstruction. So, it is very difficult to do that. A lot of mornings, right, where I'd be painless, but then I would feel the urge to go do my business. I would get scared most mornings of going to take that poop. Scare. Because I know after I'm done, the pain will onset. So, and this is, if you ever have hemorrhoids, do not do this. But, well, if you can, at least, right? I would skip days at times from doing my business. And it's the biggest mistake that you're ever going to make, ladies and gentlemen. If you can help it, if you're not otherwise constipated, you should not skip a bathroom day. They always say, don't skip leg day, don't skip a bathroom day, because the next day, the water gets sucked out of your colon, and you have to pass a hard poop. And it's harder than the previous day where you would switch for pussy, me, to go to the bathroom. And all of a sudden now you have two problems. You have the hemorrhoids and the constipation on top of it. And those two, when intertwined, is one of the worst things. Because there are days that go to work early, and I'm constipated, but it's time to leave. You know what I mean? Now, some days, again, I wasn't eating carbs, right? So there was no fermentation going on in my gut. Well, not as much anyway. There was some, but I felt heavy but not bloated. So I knew stuff was there. It was just immobile. There were some days I had the urge, but my colon was immobile. It was not passing anything. It was not passing shit, literally. You know what I mean? And again, as I was working outside, there was this one day where I was constipated. My colon felt full. Again, not bloated, but it felt full. It was time to go. We were working inside for a little bit, and I'm just here. I could barely move my abdomen. You know what I mean? So I'm up here just fidgeting while standing, like trying to move, trying to get... It's like starting a car that won't start in the winter. You know what I mean? It was that bad. And then when I would go to the bathroom, because at this time I was taking whatchamacallit? What are the things that help you go to the bathroom? Laxatives. Yeah, laxatives, obviously. So every so often I would pass pieces that were just logs. You know what I mean? And it was miserable, bro. You know, I knew I was fighting that great fight, that great war, but it was miserable, man. You know, and then the hemorrhoid pain would come with that as well. And there are times where I would take magnesium because I saw, oh, magnesium is a muscle relaxant and all this shit. Actually, no, this came after. So there was a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the nastiest it's going to get. So if you don't like that, just skip ahead a little bit. But this is the nastiest it's gonna get. So I go to the bathroom, and one day I was like, you know what? What is going on here? I have the urge to go do a business, but nothing's happening. So push a little bit more, and then all of a sudden, you see, I'm simultaneously looking at the bowl at the same time trying to do my business, and then I see a little spurt of blood come out. Fresh from the garden blood. And I'm like, oh shit. I must have like pulled something or, you know, tore something in there. So now I have hemorrhoids and a fissure, at least self-diagnosed fissure. So when I go to work in the morning, and again, I work outside, sitting down, driving, right? Within the yard, blah, blah. I'll get spasms in my ass. And then that's where the magnesium comes in, right? Because I'm like, oh, magnesium is a muscle relaxant. So I, pop some magnesium before I go to work. And then maybe it was placebo, I don't know. But again, after a couple of hours, it would go away. Sometimes it would prolong. But that was a mess. It really was. Now, let's get to the solution, ladies and gentlemen. Because this is where I have problems. And I don't want to sound like Sativa Blazer here. But this is why I have problems with the healthcare system. Because I think they prey, well, I don't want to say prey, but I'm going to put some context on it. They prey on people that know nothing. Right? Because, well, this probably is not the reason. But first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I quickly realized this and any other fiber is stupid. It's stupid. Okay? Because Videos on the internet and doctors will tell you that if you take psyllium husk or put more fiber in your diets, that it'll bulk your stool and help you go. And they say it's counterintuitive. It's not counterintuitive, ladies and gentlemen. It's stupid. It does not work. Because when you have hemorrhoids, ladies and gentlemen, you want your business to be as small and quick as possible. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. It's not this. Because first of all, fiber doesn't help you. It doesn't enable you. Well, okay. I want to say the right word here. You're going to have to take it. You're going to have to use your own context, honestly. But fiber does not help you go to the bathroom. It just adds to it, right? When I started keto, I wanted the full-fledged log, we're going to call it businesses, that looked like this. This is a tie, but I wanted the full-fledged logs of business to come out of my ass that looked beautiful. That is not needed. It's not needed, ladies and gentlemen. Fiber is a bulk laxative. It adds to your business. It doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, help you go to the bathroom. It may cause you to go to the bathroom because of, it doesn't cause you to go to the bathroom because it stimulates your colon. It causes you to go to the bathroom because of the volume that it increases. That's why when you're constipated, you shouldn't have fiber. Because it just makes the problem worse. And I'm, as I was going back and forth, I'm like, as I pass the tough businesses, I'm like, can I have fiber again? Or should I not? Fiber does not help anything, ladies and gentlemen. I also figured, again, I was watching videos on YouTube, and I came across this carnivore lady's video. Because as time had gone on, I was starting to confirm that fiber was part of the culprit in this. And I watched this carnivore lady's video on this. And once she eliminated vegetables, it went away. And I'm like, holy fuck. So what I did was remove the kale. Now, there's nuance to it, right? Because when I was making kale, I made sure not to overcook it. And in some cases, I probably slightly undercooked it. Right? And I guess the kale's foliage, because it made my businesses look good for the most part, but it added unneeded bulk to the stool, ladies and gentlemen. So at some point I was like, you know what, let me try to overcook the kale a little bit to see if there's a difference. And it did. But then I was like, if you overcook vegetables like kale, you cook away some of the nutrients. So it's like, why would I keep making it if the value goes down? So I just stopped eating kale altogether, at least for now. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, what makes you Or what helps you go to the bathroom? What makes it better? It's not fiber. This is stupid. It's this. It's salt, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that people say will spike your blood pressure and all this other bullshit. Now there's a video that'll be in the description that lays this out. But again, ladies and gentlemen, fiber is a bulk laxative. Okay? All it does is add volume to your stool. It is undigestible by our body. And that's why it comes out as waste. It's waste. That's all fiber is waste. And if you don't have my problem, right? If you don't have intestinal problems, then go ahead, eat all the fiber you want. But number one, ladies and gentlemen, we just talk about the few things you gotta take out. If you have hemorrhoids, or if you're constipated, no vegetables. No vegetables. Because you can't handle that fiber. Number two, no grains. No grains. See, whenever you see these people with colitis or ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease or whatever the fuck it is, grains and wheat and all that, they tear up your colon, bro. Gluten tears it up, bro. You can't see it, but tears it up, bro. So, if you have colitis especially, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know if but no grains. You shouldn't be eating grains. And you shouldn't eat vegetables either. But ladies and gentlemen, when I turned ketogenic, I still had the thought in my mind that salt was bad. Even though, the keto people keep on saying, as you lower the carbs, your demand for salt goes up. And I'm like, that can't be good. That can't be good. But gentlemen, let me just get it right here. There were some days on keto where I was craving salt. I would literally do this, right? I would literally get some salt out of this shit, get a pinch, and eat that shit. That is how much my body was craving salt. And you're gonna say, how does salt make you do your business? It's good. First of all, gentlemen, and this blew my mind, gentlemen, because they tell you to drink the water, but they tell you to lay off the salt. Now, there are three ways that the human body excretes salt. Third ranked is sweat. Second ranked is you pee it out. But number one is through the stool, ladies and gentlemen. Because wherever salt goes, water flows with it. And your body has a very good mechanism for excreting salt. It's way better than its mechanism for excreting sugar. Right? So, when you eat too much salt, assuming you're a healthy person, right? Because if your kidneys work, there's no reason to be scared of salt. But your body gets rid of excess salt through the stool. And as salt goes into your stool, water follows the stool. Water follows the salt, and that makes your poop soft. It's not this. I was gonna say dumbass, but who would have known? But it's not this. It's not fiber. It's salt. It's salt and water that make your stool soft. So I'm mind blown by this. You know what I mean? Because here I am taking all this magnesium and all this shit, but if you don't have enough salt, and your body really wants to hold on to salt, right? If you don't have enough salt, you're going to dump the rest of your electrolytes for your body to keep salt. So, I'm not going to say more on, because this is not very known information, right? But whenever somebody tells you that salt increases your blood pressure, there's a lot more nuance to that. Right? There's a lot more nuance to that than it is. It's basically false, right? Because the problem is most people in the world or in this country are eating the carbs, eating the carbs, eating the carbs, eating the sugar, right? Because all carbs turn to sugar. Sugar holds on to water. Salt wants to excrete it. Right? So if you're eating a bunch of sugar and it holds on to that water, it's no wonder why the quality of my businesses were so bad. You know what I mean? So ever since that, now, even today, because I'm a moron, guys, all right? Because I still eat broccoli and green beans, right? I don't eat the kale anymore, at least for now. Because the hemorrhoids are basically gone. And I haven't relapsed for the most part. I almost did. Right? There was one day where I got up early and I went out and I didn't have access to a bathroom. I had the urge. I ignored it. After a few hours, the urge went away. And never came back until the next morning. And I passed a hard stool. But it was small. It kind of hurt a little bit. But it was small. And the pain didn't prolong. And I wasn't really eating... I was eating vegetable fiber a little bit. But, you know... So, gentlemen, here been the thing, guys. All right. Okay, again, I still, these days, I go to the bathroom. I still have a little bit of pain. It's a little bit for like an hour or two, whatever it is, but it's not debilitating as it was before. But, gentlemen, if I knew this from a long time ago, you got to do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. You got to do your own research. If you rely on a doctor, they're going to give you pills. I ain't taking no fucking prescription pills, bro. One thing for damn sure is that a prescription pill, if I can help it, will never pass my mouth. So when you have a problem, and if you go to the doctor, all you need is a diagnosis. After that, it is in your hands, cocksucker. I got the diagnosis knowing 100% there was hemorrhoids. After that, it was in my hands. And I had to sift through a bunch of information, a lot of it conflicting, a lot of it false, because, you know, I read a lot of shit that said that eating too much fat makes you constipated, which is bullshit. You just... You know, if you can't digest it, okay, but that's wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Shit that says salt causes constipation, wrong. Salt causes hemorrhoids, wrong. It's all wrong, ladies and gentlemen. So again, I'm going to finish this up because I think I'm rambling a little bit, but again, put your insults in the comment section, bro. Ass bump boy. You know, boil ass boy. Go ahead. Put it in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. But This will go to show that once you know you have a problem, you can take the steps to fix it. You can experiment, take information, try it out. Because in the end, you get a lot of satisfaction out of that shit. So again, if you have hemorrhoids, vegetables, no. Grains, big no. Where did I put the psyllium husk or fiber? No. Fiber. I get to the fucking camera. Fiber. Okay, that's not good. Fiber does not help you go to the bathroom. It adds bulk to your stool. But why do you want that? Why, ladies and gentlemen? Why? You do not need fiber to go to the bathroom. If you watch videos of carnivores, if they're hardcore carnivore, which I'm not, but if they're hardcore carnivore, they eat 0 fiber. 0. And they go to the bathroom just fine. 0. So, get this out of your mind. How you go to the bathroom, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this is nuanced because if you eat a lot of carbs and eat a lot of salt, then you're gonna have a problem, right? But like me, I made ribs last week, right? I doused that motherfucker in salt, bro. I was raining salt on my ribs. You know? And I took my blood pressure a few hours later. It was the lowest. I don't take it very often, but it was 117/77. It was the lowest blood pressure that I could remember. So, salt in the absence of excess sugar is completely fine. It regulates your blood pressure. If someone tells you that salt increases your blood pressure, that's the sugar. That is the sugar, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the salt. So, you know, because they tell you to drink all this water. They tell you to drink all of this water. But if you don't have any salt, where's the water going to go? Water follows salt. If you have no salt, what, you know? Where's it going to go? If you eat a bunch of sugar, then the water will bind to the fucking, or the sugar will bind to the water. But if you drink a bunch of water and have no salt, it's not going to go anywhere. You know? So, there it is, gentlemen. You know, 50 minutes, I don't care. I don't care. Okay? But that is the TMI hemorrhoid story and how I've gotten over it. And tips. Right? I'm going to put some videos in the description. There are 2. Watch them. One is by a doctor, and one is by a carnivore lady. Watch them both. And if down the line you have hemorrhoids or constipation, you'll know what to do. Because the worst feeling is having a problem and not knowing how to fix it. And once you fix that problem, it is rewarding. So, anyway, this has been Rashawn, ladies and gentlemen. Dead is dead. Enjoy.